Greetings folks, Dan here, and welcome to another edition of Kaiju Showcase.
From deep within the earth, the Windsor fire breather emerges, almost as good as new.
Today we'll be taking a look at the classic Ultra 7 baddie of Pandon, specifically reconstructed Pandon. He was released by Bandai for their 1991 Ultra Monsters line. Specifically, he was released in April of 1992. He was only ever released by Bandai once. He was also released in other iterations, but this is the only time reconstructed Pandon was released by Bandai. Let's get into the figure a little bit before we go, diving into the history. But as you can see, for this one, the coloration is pretty good, but it's actually the opposite is what it usually is. The detail is really kind of fucked on this one. It's really a cool figure. I like it, and I'm going to explain why in a bit. But as you can see, anybody who's seen classic Pandon, he doesn't really look like he's supposed to. He's very disproportionate. Not long enough neck, he's too chubby, hands aren't exactly right, feet aren't right, the mechanical hand's not right, the tail's too fat. Usually I would say that this would make for, a very lackluster toy. Because for me, paint obviously isn't that big a deal unless it's like a crazy color, but the detail is pretty good. But as I said, it's incorrect, but I like it because it's incorrect, because it reminds me of, like the older poppies from, the late 70s and early 80s, and even, it's got that kind of bull mark look to it, and I really like that. I don't think that's exactly what they were going for, and maybe it's just me, that I really like that. I mean, there's some good detail, it's got the sockets for the eyes and stuff in there, and it's really kind of hard to see them, but they are there. Colors there, of course, but it's a little sparse. This thing is really stiff, and it could just be mine, but the arms are really stiff. It will move 360 with the arms. The legs will also move 360, but you have to move the arms out of the way. The tail does spin, and I imagine it will go 360, but it is a tough son of a bitch to turn, so I'm not going to force it and break it. I mean, yes, it's a harder vinyl. It probably could take it, but I just, I don't like forcing my figures to do anything they might not necessarily want to do. It's a really cool piece, but it's gonna be more niche. If you like, Pandon, reconstructed Pandon, or Pandon at all, the classic Showa version, then you will totally buy it. But the only thing is I think it falls down to if you like, I guess if you like your figures to be somewhat out of whack, you would really like this. But if you don't, if you're all down with the detail, I would seriously pass on this, and the only good option you have as an alternative is X Plus did one, and that I know of, that you can replace the arms. It's a standard Pandon. You can replace the arm and the leg with the mechanical version. So that would be your best bet if you can find one. But this, however, if you do like the older, the kind of odd look to them, this is a very good figure for you. Now let's talk a little bit about the character's history. Pandon appeared in the last 2 episodes of Ultra 7, the original Ultra 7. He, of course, Pandon Reconstruct specifically was in the very last episode. I'm going to kind of give a brief summary of what happened and how he got in this state. Pandon was sent out by Ghost Sagen, or Gosei Sagen. I'm sure it's Gosei is how you pronounce it. And he was sent out to, of course, destroy the Ultra Garrison. Ultra 7 showed up. There was a big battle. Ultra 7 was already weakened from being on Earth for far too long, so he wasn't in the best condition to be battling said Kaiju. However, due to the help of the Ultra Garrison, the humans there, he did manage to get a quick hit in with his eye slugger and took out his arm and his leg. Of course, he came back as Reconstruct, because cyborgs are awesome anyway, in my opinion, which made him way better. And they battled again, and Pandon being a smartass during the fight, Ultra 7 is really weak. He's like, eye slugger, and Pandon catches his eye slugger with, you know, his mechanical hand. He's like taunting him, like, ah, bitch, please, we ain't got nothing. And then, you know, of course, being a dumbass, it ends up, you know, causing Pandon's downfall. But the character only appeared, well, actually he's appeared quite a bit. He was in the original Ultra 7. He appeared again as Neo-Pandon in the Heisei Ultra 7 series. He was in Superior 8 Ultra Brothers as King Pandon, and King Pandon again appeared in Ultra Galaxy Legend, the movie. However, for me, I consider Neo-Pandon and King Pandon to be two entirely separate entities from the Showa iteration. But if I had to pick one, I would pick the Showa Pandon over all of them. And if I had to pick between Reconstruct and the standard Showa, I would pick Reconstruct. Because as I said, cyborgs are badass.
Against a fire-breathing invader from space, and comes out the winner. On a split decision.
Now, availability for this figure, as you can tell, is a little bit older. Bandai only ever did this figure once. I wish they would do it again, but Bandai's kind of not very ballsy about releasing figures sometimes, so I really wouldn't hold, you know, if you were a fan of it, I wouldn't hold your breath. He's out there. I see him pop up here and there. I would like a tag version, a slightly better example, because mine's not in the best condition, but, you know, he's good for what he is. I got him pretty reasonable, if I recall, a while back, so I wouldn't pay more than 10 bucks for him, truth be told. If it had a tag, maybe $15. That seems fairly reasonable. It was released back in 1992. Some of those early 90s figures are getting a bit scarce because it's been, you know, about 20 years since the line started, so. But yeah, again, 10, 15 bucks if tagged, I wouldn't go with that. But if you want another example of them, I'll give you, there was a regular Pandon released by Bandai in 2001. It was June of 2001. It's just a standard Pandon, way better mold, far more accurate, but it's not the Reconstruct version, which I'm sure most people would be okay with it just being the standard version, but I certainly ain't, damn it. But I do need to get that standard version because I would have liked to have him in this video. There was, of course, the X Plus one I mentioned, which was just fantastic, really, you know, more costly, but nice figure. And then there was a Pandon released by Bullmark back in the early 70s, so that probably has been reissued, but it's Bullmark, so it's going to be a little more pricey too. You know, like I said, just check eBay, keep your eyes open. That's probably going to be your best bet for finding one. I think that's going to be it for this week's video. Keep your eyes peeled. You know, of course, I try to get a video out every week. I got the unpackaging videos with Vic, so just keep your eyes open. I got new stuff coming all the time. You guys take care, and we'll catch you next time.